When we're raising our dogs, we often think, you know what, I don't want them to do drugs. You know what, I don't want them to get pregnant as a teenager. And those are obviously good things. But there's much smaller steps that we need to be guarding against before we even get there. Who's guarding the heart of your daughter? I believe very strongly that it's our job. In 1 Timothy 6:20 says, guard what has been entrusted to you. Our daughters have been entrusted to us. God gave them to us, and I believe it's our duty to guard their heart. As I mentioned, I remember how innocent and pure my daughter was when she was given to me. And somewhere along the road, I realized that she was growing up. She started making her own decisions. It started off like, I want to wear, a dress, and, I want to do this, I want to candy, the small decisions. And I quickly realized that, that little baby that I held is getting bigger. So I had a genius idea. One day, as we were sitting at the table, I talked to my daughter about the importance it was to me that she not grow up. And at this time, she was very, happy with this discussion. And so I made a decision with her that she would stop growing up because I liked her where she was at. In fact, we even shook on it. And I was like, it's a done deal. It's in the bag. And she didn't listen because she's 11 years old right now. And I'm thinking, where did that go? How did that happen? That that little girl that we shook on it still grew up. And the thing is, obviously, it was going to happen. But what is still innocent in my daughter is her heart. Because I work very hard to guard it. I do not want anything to get into her heart that I don't want to have either. Because God has called me to guard it. And He has called you to guard your daughter's heart. So even though my daughter grew up, her heart, I believe, is still very innocent. I know we even go places and people are, honestly, they're kind of surprised at how, sweet and kind and innocent my daughters are. But we work very hard to keep it that way. All the statistics that I gave you at the beginning, about the depression, about girls thinking that they don't look good, about girls thinking that they're inferior to other people. Those are the things that you need to guard their heart from. When people come at them and they show them pictures or magazines of these women that have been airbrushed, of course, your daughter is going to feel inferior. Are you going to guard their heart and tell them they're the most beautiful person you've ever seen? Not just on the outside, but on the inside. Because if you only focus on the outside of your daughter, studies show that she will grow up to think she's ugly. If every day your daughter comes to you and says, am I beautiful? And you just say, yep, you're beautiful. You're beautiful on the outside. I like your hair. I like your clothes. She's going to grow up feeling inferior about how she looks. What we need to do is we need to look at the heart of our daughter. And we need to guard it. We need to show her that she's not just beautiful on the outside. It's great if they are. But we're looking for a daughter that's beautiful and innocent. That's innocent. That it has a heart that we're watching over. I kind of look at it like this, and this is just the picture that I show, but I view it like, to her heart there's a gateway. And in this gateway, it's just open. And any message that the world wants to get into our daughters is just free to go in. And let's be honest, the world isn't looking for the opportunity to raise our kids. In fact, they're looking so much forward to it that every TV show, what does the dad look like? He looks like an idiot, doesn't he? Dads on TV shows look like they're consumed with sports only. They're on the couch just sitting there. They don't know what's going on, or they try to do stuff, but it always ends up going wrong. Have you noticed how dads are looking in the public eye these days? Not very good. So the world is kind of telling our kids, you know what? Your dad can't do it. Listen to the world. We'll tell you how to feel. We'll tell you how to think. We'll tell you how you're supposed to act. And this is that gateway that I view that's leading into my daughter's heart. And if nobody is going to stand guard, she is going to receive every message that this world has to give to her. And that, to me, that's just not good enough. It's not good enough for my daughter. When she was placed in my arms, I had bigger expectations than what this world wanted to tell her. Because I don't want her to grow up thinking she's not good enough. And that's why I'm going to stand guard in my daughter's hearts, preventing the wrong messages from getting in there. No matter what happens, no matter what storms may happen in this world, I'm going to stand guard. I'm not going to walk away from my post. Because it just takes one time, and your daughter's going to hear a message that you don't want in her heart. And it's much harder to get something out of their heart than it is to guard their heart. I remember even just last night, my daughter, they wanted to watch a movie. And I was tired last night. You know, we're parents. We always get tired. And they were asking, can I just watch this movie? Now, my wife and I, our policy is if we always check the movies very closely. We go to, if you don't know, it's Kids in Mind website. It tells you everything in that movie that would be, compromising morality-wise. And so, I was tired, and I was this close to just saying, just go watch it, whatever. And then I stopped myself, and I thought of what I was going to say today. And I thought, no, I can't do that. I can't leave my post. I'm the guard to their heart. I need to make sure I know what's going in and out of that gateway to their heart. And, I didn't want to, but I thought, I'll check out the movie. And I checked to see if it's a fine movie, if they could watch it, and all that kind of stuff. But you see, we're going to get tired. We're going to be distracted. But that has to be your number one job in life, to guard their heart. Be very careful what you're allowing into their heart. And you can't listen to what this world's going to tell you. I know, my wife and I, we've talked quite a bit because we've received a lot of flack from people, friends even, that think that we're just like overboard when it comes to our daughters. And, we're not like, strict with them and like, you won't do this and you won't do that. But we are very careful of the decisions that we make as a family. And you have to be ready to not just stand guard against this world, but your friends who say, oh, just let her do that. Stop being that way. If she's 14, oh, just let her go to that dance with those boys. Who cares? Are you able to stand up to anybody, anytime, to protect her? This is her heart. This is what she's going to have the rest of her life. Looks change, attitudes change, but your heart doesn't change. Our daughters' hearts are what we allow it to be. And even though my daughter was so innocent on the outside when she was handed me at the doctor's office when she was born, and she changed, of course. But to me, her heart is still that little baby. And I'm going to guard it. And I'm going to guard all 4 of my daughter's hearts until they're adults and they may just make their own decisions. Now, the third thing that I wanted to talk tonight goes along very closely with that. Because you can't guard your daughter's heart if yours isn't right yourself. We all know that the Bible talks about us being the spiritual leader of our home. Unfortunately, a lot of people think the spiritual leader means you tell people what to do. And that's actually a poor leader. I believe that the spiritual leader that God has called us to be is one that shows us, or that shows people how to act. If I'm going to tell my daughters it's important to pray, I better have a praying relationship myself with God. If I'm going to tell my daughters, you know what, you need to read the Bible, then I better be reading the Bible myself. Again, in our family, we make a very important point to show the girls our faith. One of the things that we do, for example, is my wife and I believe very strongly in giving. We all believe in giving. God commands us to give. Well, if I believe giving is important, I don't just tell my girls, yeah, when you get older, make sure you give. No, my wife and I, we take our girls to the homeless shelters. We take our girls to visit the migrant families. We take them to the nursery homes so that they don't just hear us talking about giving, they see us giving. In the morning, every day, before I leave for work, our whole family, even our little 20-month-old daughter, we get in a circle and we hold hands and we pray. We pray about the day, and we pray that, school goes good. We pray that our home is filled with people that are encouraging each other, so that there's peace in our home. Why? Because they need to see us praying. They need to see that I have a relationship with God. Because we know that nobody really cares what you say, but everybody cares what you do. So what is your relationship with God? Do you have the relationship with God that you want your daughters to have? It's an important question. Everybody has to have their own relationship, obviously. But it's going to be far easier for your daughters if they can see it in your life. The statistics are very startling as far as kids that grow up to be believers. It's very different from those people that just go to church and those people that participate in church. If you just go to church, and that's the only time the girls see you, even mentioning God, they're probably going to grow up thinking all Christians are hypocrites, to be honest. But if we live a life where they see us reading the Bible, and they see us praying, and my girls know that I get up very